Hello and welcome to this short yin yoga sequence where we're going to be focusing on releasing tension through the neck, the shoulders, and the upper back. So, for today's class, we may need a couple of props. So, I have a yoga bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can use a pillow. Pillow's good. We're also going to use a blanket. So, we're actually going to use one or the other. But I'll get you to get both because we don't know just what you're going to need until we're actually in the pose, and I don't want you to have to run off and get something else. If you don't have a blanket, a towel will do the job. I've also got a block, just because I have a block. If you don't have a block, though, that is okay. Just one of these props will be plenty for you. So we're just going to prepare the towel or the blanket. So I want you to just open it up so that it is a little bit wider than your shoulder width. And then just rolling it up. So basically we're creating a mini bolster here. So this is going to be the option if the bolster or pillow is a little too much when we do come into our final pose. So just rolling up, we're just going to have everything prepared and then just popping everything to the side. So we won't be using it just yet. So let's come to a comfortable seated position. If you do want to sit up on one of your props, you're more than welcome to here. You could be cross-legged, you could be kneeling, you could even have the legs out in front of you if that feels more comfortable for you today. So our first stretch is going to be a neck stretch. So let's just take a few rolls of the shoulders here first. You might even close down the eyes. And just take a moment to start to feel into your body, particularly your upper body, your neck, your shoulders, and your upper back. Maybe rolling the shoulders forwards as well. And then relaxing them. Okay, we're going to relax the arms down by your side and then bring your left hand around behind you to hold on to your right sort of inner elbow or the elbow, just wherever it's comfortable. And then gently you're going to draw your right ear towards your right shoulder. So just nice and slow. We're not forcing it. Once you start to feel a little bit of resistance or a bit of a stretch down the left side of the neck, that's where you're going to stop. So we're not trying to cause any strain or any tension. We want to release. So we're just going to hold there. Maybe you close down your eyes. Or again, you could just soften the gaze on something in front of you that's not moving. So if you're getting quite a nice release like this, you can stay here. If you feel like you need to stretch a little more in the front or the back of the neck, you can have a little bit of a play around with this by first bringing the chin down slightly towards your shoulder. That's going to move the stretch a little around to the back of your neck. Or you can angle the chin up slightly towards the ceiling, get a little more stretch through the front of the neck. So just finding that sweet spot for you on this side. Rather than continually moving, we'll just find that one spot. And then relaxing your tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Allowing the teeth to separate, your jaw to relax. Yeah. Just allowing your breath to guide you here. The mind will do whatever it needs to do. We'll just gently keep drawing it back to your breath. And just watching it as it flows in and out. Each time that the mind wanders off, when you catch it, we'll just softly bring it back. Let's just take a few more breaths on this side. If your chin is angled up or down at all here, we'll slowly just bring it back to center. And then gently lifting the head up. Releasing that right arm. Relax the left arm down and bring the right hand around to grab a hold of the left elbow or inner arm. And slowly left ear starts to move towards the left shoulder. Again, just finding that point. Often one side, if you're feeling tense in the neck, often one side feels a little tighter than the other. So you might go a little further, a little less on this side, and that's okay. Equally, you might be feeling the stretch here, and that's perfect for you to stay. Or if you want to have a little play around, you can start to angle the chin down slightly or up. And again, just finding that sweet spot, which might be different to the other side. Again, that's okay. When you found it, we'll settle there, finding stillness. Once again, relaxing the tongue away from the roof of the mouth, allowing the teeth to separate, the jaw to soften. Allowing that steady flow of the breath in and out of the body. Just a few more breaths. Slowly bring the chin back to center if it's up or down. And then lifting the head back up through center, releasing that left arm. You bring your hands to rest on your knees or in your lap. Taking a few deep breaths here. Okay, softly blinking, open the eyes. We'll make our way over onto your hands and your knees. And then coming all the way down onto your belly. And just relaxing the tops of the feet down onto the mat. Your hands can be underneath your shoulders. Yeah. We're going to come into our open wing pose. So reaching your right arm out wide, palm facing down, so your hands in line with your shoulder. Left hand is under your left shoulder. Using that left hand, we'll press and start to roll our way onto the front of that right shoulder, coming onto our right hand side. And then allowing the head to rest back down, either on your mat or maybe on that folded blanket. Just to the point again where you start to feel a bit of resistance and sensation through that right shoulder. And that's the perfect place to stop. I like to step my left foot over the right, bringing the sole of the foot down to the mat, but you might like to just have it resting on top or even have your pillow or your bolster in between the legs. I'm just going to give you two options here. So you can keep that right arm straight. Another option though is to have the elbow bent. So if you roll back a little, bend the elbow, and then again, oftentimes you're not going to come quite so far. It's a bit of a different stretch through the pecs. But for some people that feels like where you need it more. So you can try both, see what it feels like you need in this moment. And then your left hand might stay there on the mat, just keeping you stable. If you're feeling quite stable, you've always got the option to wrap that left arm around your back. Again, you can let your eyes close down here, or you can just soften the gaze. Bringing your awareness back to your breath. One thing I love about this pose is that, for me anyway, it feels like quite an unraveling. Spend so much time hunched forward in what we're doing, either, working at a desk or a computer if you're driving. Most of our activities tend to kind of curl us inward, and this is just the complete opposite, peeling us back. Beautiful opening through the front of the body, the chest, the heart. For me, it's one of those poses that, while it can be quite uncomfortable at times when I'm in it, it feels like a beautiful release once you come out. Just going to take another 10 breaths here, so it's not a super long hold this time. If you've got that left hand wrapped around your back, you'll slowly bring it back to the mat next to your face. And we'll gently start to roll back onto our bellies, nice and slow. Beautiful. Taking a bend to that right arm, bring the hand underneath your shoulder. And it comes straight to the other side, just taking your time. Left arm will come out wide, or maybe you're taking the bent elbow variation, and you can come into that straight away. And then using that right hand to start to roll you onto the left. letting the head rest down, just finding your edge. Choosing where that right foot's going to go, whether you're stepping over the left leg, if you're just resting it on top, or if you've got the pillow in between the legs or the thighs. And once again, right hand can stay where it is on the mat in front of you, or you can wrap it around your back, taking that half bind shape. Just being aware that, once again, this side might feel different to the other side. So if you feel like you've got a little less range, that's okay. Don't force it. If you've got a little more, again, that's okay as well. But just finding that edge where there's sensation, but we definitely don't want any pain, any sharp pain or sharp sensations or any burning. And awareness comes back to your breath. And another 10 or so breaths. Okay, if that right arm is around your back, we'll bring the hand back down to the mat. Slowly rolling yourself back onto your belly. Nice and slow. Bring that left hand underneath your left shoulder. And then just pressing yourself up and back into a tabletop position. And then just shift the hips back towards the heels. Draw the arms alongside the body. Let the forehead rest down on the mat, coming into your traditional child's pose. If that doesn't feel good for your neck, you can have your cushion or blanket underneath the forehead, or you can even stack your hands. We just want to relax the shoulders here for a few breaths, taking a counter pose or a rebound before our last shapes. Beautiful. Slowly start to lift your head up as you make your way back up to kneeling. Now we're going to use our props for this last one. So I'm going to start with a bolster because I know the bolster is okay for me. You can start with your pillow, perhaps. If you are feeling really tight in your upper back, your thoracic, then I'll suggest going straight for the lower option of your blanket or your towel. But just having it nearby anyway. So we're going to pop that bolster or pillow about 2/3 of the way up your mat horizontal so that there's space in front of it or at the top for your head, your arms, your shoulders. So we're going to come over onto our left hip, onto our left side. And just scooching right up so that left hip is against the bolster or the pillow here. Your right knee is just stacked on top of the left, whether it's right on top or sliding off a bit, doesn't matter too much. Beautiful. And we're going to come to lay over the bolster or the pillow onto our left hand side. We're going to bring that left arm right out in front of us, palm facing up. And your head's going to rest down. The left side of your head will rest down on your mat. You are welcome to pop a cushion or the blanket underneath your head here if you need, which I'm going to do. Nice. Just for a little support so that your neck is not strained here at all. And then we're going to bring the right hand to rest on top of the left. So our shoulders and our arms are completely off the pillow and off the bolster. If you need to shuffle a little, if this is not comfortable for your hips, you can shuffle so that it is comfortable. So right hand is on top of the left here. We're going to open this up into a bit of a twist and an upper back opener. So reaching the right arm up towards the ceiling and then peeling it back. So you're opening the arms up. You can wiggle a little if you need here. So now we're getting a big opening through the thoracic spine, the upper back. So if this feels like too much for you, if it feels really tender, then now I'll ask you to come back onto your left side, lift up and use the blanket or the towel instead. And if that's too much, if you're feeling really tight, you can do this without anything underneath and just take a beautiful reclined twist. You're still going to get a beautiful opening in that sense. So adjusting if you need to. Our arms are out wide. You can turn to look over the right shoulder if that feels okay on your neck. Otherwise, you can just keep looking up. Again, softening the gaze or closing down the eyes. So getting a beautiful twist in the spine, but also that opening up through upper back, through the chest and the shoulders as well. Bringing all awareness back to your breath, noticing how the breath feels here. So our breath is a pretty good indicator of how we're feeling or if we've gone too fast. If you feel like the breath gets really restricted here, more shallow, more of an effort, then usually, again, it's a pretty good indicator that you've gone a bit too far or too deep, or you're straining your body somewhat. So to pull back a little. So we want to feel sensation, but we want to be able to breathe freely. Just like we did in the first pose. I'll invite you to relax the tongue away from the roof of the mouth, letting the teeth and the lips separate. So your jaw can soften, relax here. And let's just take our last few breaths on this side. Bringing your head back to center first. And then bringing that right arm over to meet the left. So you're coming back to lay on your left-hand side. And using your hands to gently press yourself up. Coming up off the bolster or the cushion, we'll just swing the knees over to the other side, moving nice and slow. Bringing the hip, that right hip, right up to your pillow or your bolster. And then coming to lay down over it on your right hand side to bring the right arm out in front of you. Letting the head rest down. Little adjustment if you need to. And then left hand comes over to meet the right. And then we'll reach the left arm up towards the ceiling and peeling that arm all the way back. Opening up. Finding what feels good on your neck, whether that's looking up or over the left shoulder. Bringing your awareness back to the sensation of your breath, the rhythm of your breath as it flows in and out. Steady, smooth breath. Feeling any tension in the upper back begin to soften and melt away. And just taking your last few breaths. We'll slowly bring the head back up through center. Then drawing your left arm over to meet the right, coming back onto your right hand side. Use your hands to start to press yourself up. We're going to make our way into Shavasana. So just removing any props from underneath you. And you might remove them all together, or you could bring your pillow or your bolster underneath your knees. And we'll come to lay down on our backs. Finding a comfortable reclined position. We'll just be here for a couple of minutes. So you might allow yourself to really spread out here with the arms and the legs. But if your low back doesn't really like you lying down flat, you can have a bend in the knees, soles of the feet on the mat out nice and wide, and just let the knees rock in together. Usually feels better on the lower back if it feels niggly at all with the legs extended. Again, eyes closed or soft, unfocused gaze as we invite stillness back into the body. Allowing all the muscles to soften, melt into your mat. Again, one last time, let the tongue fall from the roof of the mouth. Let the teeth and the lips separate. The jaw is heavy, relaxed. And if you feel like you want to hang out in your Shavasana a little longer, you are more than welcome to. You can either pause the video here or you can just tune out. Otherwise, we're going to start to wriggle the fingers and the toes. Bringing a bend into the knees, slowly rolling onto one side. And using your hands to press yourself up to a seated position. Hands come together before the heart. And just a gentle bow of your head down towards your hand. A little thank you to yourself for taking time out of your day to give back and to fill up your own cup. Namaste. Thank you for joining me or letting me guide you, and I will see you next time.